Don Peoples, Deadbolt. Let's talk about it. Now we gonna talk about it. So we got one of my favorite all-time groups dropping their highly anticipated third album, Culture 3, at midnight. If y'all don't know who I'm talking about, man, I'm talking about the Migos. Quavo, Offset, Take Off. Y'all know what it is, man. But I also want to talk about how important that this album is and how this can also be the death of the Migos as we know it. Now, since the Migos have come out, obviously, man, they've changed the sound. They've put, a dent in the hip hop culture. When you go back and you look at hip hop over the last 30 years, you will have to, look at the Migos period and how the Migos came into the game and the style of rap that they was, bringing in, just coming off so fresh and, what I'm saying, with that sound and obviously the beats, they came in the game fucking with Zaytoven. So, it was a situation to where it was like a beautiful marriage, like a match made in heaven type situation with the Migos. And, when I first heard the Migos, I'm like, yo, these niggas ain't got no label. I'm feeling the whole YRN movement. You know what I'm saying? And what it represented. And, I just felt like how they were coming, that, man, the Migos couldn't be stopped. And then all of a sudden, it just seems like like a oversaturation period started happening. I kind of feel like after Drake hopped on Versace, that's when we started seeing like the downfall like of the Migos. Like, that was like the first it started going down and not up to me. Now, they came out, like I said, dropped the No Label, dropped No Label 2. Both of those mixtapes, classics. You know what I'm saying? Definitely brought a sound and a flavor, like I said, along with Zaytoven, man. They were smashing the game. But they was hungry, though. You kind of heard it in their music. You know what I'm saying? Very hungry. You know what I mean? Ambitious. You could tell they wanted that spot. Really wasn't no other groups doing it like the Migos at that time. And they really wasn't getting a lot of notoriety at first. They had like a slow grind. Like the Migos didn't come out and just bust onto the scene. Even though they had hits like, Versace and, and a couple of other hits coming out the gate. But, they really didn't bust on the scene as far as going number one until Bad and Bougie. Now, when Bad and Bougie hit the scene, this is when the Migos went from bandos to Bad and Bougie condos and all that type of shit. You feel me? And I think this is where they really, really started losing the people because they flow started getting real repetitious. It really wasn't bringing no new substance to what they were saying. And it was like, yo, like, am I hearing the Migos too much? You know what I'm saying? Because the Bad and Bougie cut obviously was a smash. And it went on to do numbers, Culture, that album, you know what I'm saying? It was a game changer. And, Migos, all of a sudden they headlining tours with Drake. It don't get no bigger than that. They selling out world tours. You know what I'm saying? And you just start seeing like the chink in the armor because like I said, the flows is getting repetitious. They not really reinventing the wheel. They not as hungry as they was when they first started because now they getting the money. Hell, Offset then when, even though Cardi bought it for him, got a fucking bando chain on his neck. They really just don't even look classy at all. You're just wasting money at that point. You feel what I'm saying? But the Migos really just got into a situation now to where, they started, wanting to explore, instead of reinventing the sound and kind of like how Drake does, from time to time, he'll catch a new wave and then he'll ride it. The Migos kind of stayed in their lane and thought that their lane would manifest and keep growing. But when you look around, you like, damn, you know, other sounds are starting to evolve. You know, the little Uzi Verts and the Playboy Cardis. You know what I'm saying? And people in their own camp, such as Little Baby, amongst others. You know, so they want to try to get into a relationship thing. Obviously, Offset and Cardi B and that whole situation. You know, wanting to be the new J and B. I don't really think Cardi's set up for that. You know what I'm saying? Will they be able to be relevant? I think as a couple, yeah, because you could spin off and do reality shows and all type of different things other than music. So I think that was a good play for Offset to attach himself with Cardi now, because it's like, yo, if this doesn't work out, he has to be able to still make a bag somehow. And Cardi B looks like she gonna be around for a little bit. So even if she gets in back into reality or whatever, you gonna see Offset. Just like how you see Waka and Tammy. Now unfortunately, with the whole, Quavo and Sweetie situation, now that turned ugly. Obviously, we know how that played out. But, it was the same thing. Both of them, started focusing on women and, wanting to have their solo careers, which I thought was a genius plan. And I thought it would also destroy the Migos, because I was like, shit, Quavo drop a solo album, it's gonna be lit, and everybody gonna start fucking with Quavo, and he gonna go off on his own. But when he dropped that bullshit with Travis Scott, that Cactus Jack shit, that had me way off the Quavo train. I knew that album, when he dropped it, was gonna be trash. And ultimately, out of all three of their solo albums, Offset had the most solid project. Quavo project, I hate to say it, I'm a Quavo fan. It was trash. Takeoff, he had a couple of cuts, but he's never talked about as far as a front runner. Obviously, he's the third leg of the Migos. It is what it is. He made $1 million+ being the third leg. Hey, I'll be a third leg every day for a bag like that. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, the group main attention was on Quavo and then Offset. And for Quavo to bomb like he did, it had nobody anticipating the Migos no more. Niggas was like, who's next? So QC went from obviously being a dominant player, really starting to build this momentum now and solidify themselves, because hell, they got Migos, they got Lil Baby, and they got the City Girls. Now the Migos is on their last leg. What they gonna do? Now obviously, as businessmen, which them brothers is, you can tell that they've shifted their attention to Lil Baby and the City Girls. The Migos, they get the third leg. They get the end of the budget. So when you see them beefing and having contract disputes, it's not they having contract disputes, because I think the Migos have made a hell of a lot of money. It's that their demand is not there. Because right now, Lil Baby is running the game. One of the top 3 artists for the last maybe 2 years now. You know what I'm saying? And you look at their wave and what they're doing, that shit don't even include the Migos. The Migos feel like an old school group. So it makes sense for QC and Coach K to put their bag into into Lil Baby. And then the City Girls got the wave with the chicks. They got every chick out here thotting. So they're influencing. So it makes sense for them to focus the bag on them right now. Now, is it fair? Because the Migos then brought these brothers riches. They wouldn't be one of the best labels, top labels in the hip hop industry if it wasn't for the Migos, riding the Migos for the, last 5, 6, 7 years. I think the Migos have reached the crossing road. Obviously, I know they feel that. I know they feel the pressure. What's going to happen at 12 o'clock when that ball drops? Is everybody going to go stream? I think a lot of people going to check it out. Hearing some snippets. I think it's going to be some fire on there. I think they're going to come with some cuts, but is it going to be received? Will it be on a level to where, yo, we was waiting for this and it really did its numbers? Or will the Migos just come, you'll hear a few tracks and then they'll fade away? And I think Coach K and QC, they're banking on that to happen more so than this to go platinum and for the Migos to claim themselves back at their throne. Because in 2017, Migos was the hottest group. If you broke them down, whatever, the hottest artist in the game next to Drake. Now Drake obviously still holds that status, but you know, the Migos, it's like ain't nobody checking for him. And I think we need to put some respect on the Migos name. We need to understand what they brought to the culture. And that's why they named this album The Culture. Because they brought a lot to it. Everything that you kind of see now, like the flow, the wordplay, you know, it's like they kind of brought that in. Even though Bone made the fast rap along with Twister and Crucial Conflict and that whole era, you know, the Migos brought that back with their own swag, their own style. But I think they lost a lot of the people along the way with focusing on relationships, not focusing on the music, dropping, you know, solo projects that were subpar, all three of them, and not being able to really reclaim themselves on their next, you know, rap, you know, collab album, you know, as the group. You know, now you pulling straws now. You know, you hoping that, you know, you can strike lightning in a bottle. You know, you can get a Soulja Boy record or something like that. You feel what I'm saying? Even though they're not, you know, that old or that outdated, it just seems like, yo, this is the Migos' last shot. You know, will this be the death of the Migos as we know it? Because if this album doesn't sell, I guarantee you they'll be leaving, you know, QC the label. You know, they're not going to play third fiddle. They're already salty. They playing second fiddle behind Lil Baby. Then if they fall off again on this album, they're going to have to fall behind the City Girls. I highly doubt they're going to be able to do that. Their ego, what they brought to the game and the culture, I definitely think they're not going to be able to take that, stomach that, you know. And that's the painful thing about this industry that a lot of the artists don't talk about. It's when you rise to the top, when you performing in front of 30, 40, 50,000 people, and then all of a sudden ain't nobody checking for you. You can't sell out a 3,000 person club, let alone an arena no more. That drug and that adrenaline of being number one, it will kill you to try to maintain it. You'll do whatever it takes to get that feeling. It's like something you'll never experience again. And that's why all these entertainers are doing what they got to do to maintain their spot. But I think it's very simple. The Migos need to drop the best music they've ever dropped in their life. And I think they're focused in on that. They know what the pressure is that's about to come out of this. And I'm anxious to see how these dudes do. But what do y'all think, man? Do y'all think the Migos got it in them, man, to come back with a awesome project in Culture 3? Or do you think this will be the death of the Migos as we know it? And we're going to see the brothers with their girls and exes on the next reality special on VH1. I want y'all to get in the comment box, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, subscribe, share. Y'all get behind the channel. Deadbolt ATL, man. It's your boy Don Peoples. Deadbolt. Gone.